Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling today? We all know life can get tough. Things happen and life comes at us left, right and center, and we don't always know what to do. We don't know how to process things, how to express things, and life becomes tough and it just feels like it's getting worse and worse, and we feel like we're at a loss, we're stuck, we don't know what to do anymore because life is unpredictable and we don't like the uncertain. We don't like being in a situation that is uncomfortable or difficult for us. And we have to go through these difficulties because they shape us and they build our resilience as well. And we struggle. We struggle every day with multiple different things in our lives. But there is an importance of struggling. Because if we don't struggle, we don't learn. If we don't struggle, we don't grow. And struggling is unfortunately just one of those things that's a part of life, and we can't really do too much about it because we suffer, we struggle, things get tough, things become unpredictable, uncertain, and we just feel like we're at a loss, like we don't know what to do. But struggling is meant to be there for us to learn. It's meant to be there for us to level up in life, to self-develop as well. If we don't struggle, then we don't succeed, because any small success, even if it's just making yourself fit and healthy, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle with that first workout. You're going to struggle with that first breakfast. And with any change, with any growth, we have to struggle. Because if we don't struggle, then how do we get what we want out of life? How do we achieve our goals? How do we live out our visions? And struggling is part of the journey. It's part of your recovery, it's part of your healing, and we need to struggle. And even though it's tough, and it's really, really tough right now, and things are happening, and you don't get a break, and you don't get time for yourself, but struggle now so you don't regret it later. Struggle now so you can build your future. Struggle now so you can heal from your past. Struggling is important for us to get to understand life a bit better. It helps us understand ourselves a bit better. Struggling gives us different perspectives. It shapes our mindsets, the way we view problems. Because when we struggle, we need to apply problem-solving skills and make well-informed decisions so that we know we're struggling, but we're also doing our best. And that's what should take the stress off a little bit. Because if something becomes so overwhelming and stressful that you procrastinate and you don't know how to get better and you don't know how to improve, then it's a different story. Because struggling means that you are doing your best through a very, very difficult situation. And we all have problems. We all have things that we are struggling with, we are suffering from. And that's the beauty of life, is struggle so we can learn, so we can build, so we can grow, so we can get to understand, deepen our understanding and our perceptions and our awareness. Because if you struggle in the relationship with yourself, then you are working on that connection with yourself. If you are struggling in your relationships, it means you're not giving up. It means you are trying. Because when you are struggling, you are trying. When you are suffering, then that's a different story. When you're suffering, then you're so overwhelmed, so stuck in the issues that you're not able to actually struggle out of it. And struggling is one of those things that we just have to accept, because nothing comes easy And we have to build our skill, we have to build our knowledge, we have to deepen our understanding. And if you're struggling in life, keep struggling. It will eventually get better, because you can't struggle and struggle and do your best and do your best and nothing comes of it. No, we create our own realities. We create our own circumstances. We are the painters of our lives. And sometimes that paint hardens. Sometimes that paint dries out. And we have to make an alternative plan. And that's what struggling is finding a different way to do something. Even though it's difficult and you're not getting it right, I promise you, if you put in that consistency every single day, you will struggle, but you'll start struggling a bit less as you develop yourself and as you develop your skills and as you develop your understandings, your perceptions, and your mindsets. And the thing is, struggling is how we learn. It's how we learn about ourselves. It's how we learn about life. It's how we learn about other people. And it's how we learn how to regulate ourselves and to self-manage and be able to make well-informed decisions using the wise mind, so we are not too emotional or too practical when it comes to a challenging situation. And that's the word I want to use, challenging. And that's what it should be. It should be a challenge, not a setback. Struggling is not a setback. Struggling is a challenge, an opportunity. And struggling is how we build our strength, endurance, and resilience. It's how we are able to keep ourselves going through the most difficult parts in our lives. It is about being able to keep going, keep that consistency every single day. And when we struggle, we build our strength in ourselves. We build the ability to deal with difficult things. We are able to bounce back quicker and more easily. And the more you struggle, the less you struggle. And that's just how it is. The more you struggle with something and you work on it and you're building from it, the less you will struggle with it in the future, and the more easier it may become, or the more manageable, that's a better word, the more manageable it will become. And the amazing thing about struggling is that it brings fulfillment, because you work for something. It's not just an instant thing that you get immediately. And that creates more appreciation when things come into fruition and you start to reap the benefits of the struggling and the hard work and the difficulties and the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in every day. And struggling gets us to our goals. Struggling gets us far into our futures. And it will end. You will struggle in general in multiple different things in your life, but the suffering doesn't have to be constant. The suffering doesn't have to be a concept that takes over your life. It doesn't have to be this thing that takes over your life. And we all need to struggle in order to evolve, to become better versions of ourselves, to become the best version of ourselves. And it's how we develop, how we self-develop, and how we create personal growth. It's how we grow within ourselves. When we struggle, it builds character, it builds understanding, it builds knowledge. So it's very important to understand the importance of struggling. And to my last point, struggling in life can either shape you or break you. It's completely up to you. If you allow struggling to give you direction and motivation, and you allow it to challenge you, then you're going to deal with life struggles much better. But if you let it break you, you're going to become less tolerant to difficulties in life, changing circumstances, and you may also struggle to be able to shape yourself, and you may struggle to build connections, because we empathize with our struggles. You can either let it shape you or break you. But remember, struggling is meant to build character. It's meant to be there for you to grow, self-develop, and learn. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that beautiful person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.